ॐ ज्ञानतिमृन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु विज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। We are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 64, verse number 10. So this is story of King Nirga, and we read that how Krishna's sons, they went to forest to play. They felt thirsty and they were searching for water, and they came across a well, but it was without any water. And when they looked into it, they saw that there was a big lizard or chameleon in it, and they tried to uplift it, but they were not successful. So they went and told their father, Sri Krishna, and Krishna came and lifted. And then he asked that, who are you and what has happened? Because by his touch the chameleon turned into very beautiful divine being, nicely dressed, garland, ornaments, everything. So now King Nriga, he speaks about his story in verse number 10. Nirgo nama narendroham ikshvaku tanaya prabho danishvakhyay maneshu yadite karnamasprisham. So he said that, O Lord, my name is Nriga and I am king, or I was a king. So although he is not Nriga anymore, right? If your body changes, you have another body, you don't carry the name. Name and form, they go together. If the form is changed, name also changes. But he is still identifying himself with Nriga because he has memory of the past. Generally, change of body means forgetfulness also. So he says that I am Narendra, I am king, and I am son of Ikshvaku, who is son of Vivaswan. Vivaswan is coming in Bhagavad Gita. And he says that if you ever heard the name of people who are charitable, you might have, maybe you have heard my name also. Because he was a highly charitable person. So therefore he says, Danishu Akhyay Maneshu, that when the list of big charitable people is being made or recited, then maybe your ears have touched my name or my name has touched your ears. Karnamasprisham. So he is being a little polite, although saying that he is a very charitable person. I don't think there is any commentary. So he says, Yadi iti asandehepi yadi veda pramanam itivat. So yadi is generally used when you say maybe. So he says that actually he has no doubt about it. It's impossible that if you are hearing the names of charitable people, then you have not heard Nriga's name. So therefore he says that yadi here is not in the sense of maybe, but it is in the sense of certainty. As it is said, yadi prema veda pramanam, if the Vedas are pramanam, authority. So there yadi is not used in the sense of if, but it means they are pramana. Danishu akhyayamaneshu dhatu jananam ganana prasange sati aham tav karnam asprisham karnapatham avgamam eva ityartha. So he's saying that when the list of the charitable people is being read, my name certainly must have come up and you must have heard it. So he is certain about that. Kimnu te aviditam natha sarvabhutatma sakshinaha kalena vyahata trisho vakshayatapita gaya. He says, O Lord, what is unknown to you? Because you are the witness of every living being, being the Paramatma. And your memory is not overpowered by time. Means as time passes, it's not that you forget. Kalena vyahadrusha vakshayathapi tavagya. So although you know everything, but since you have ordered me to tell you about myself, I will explain, I will recite in brief who I am. So that means Nriga has already understood who is Krishna. That's why he is addressing him as Lord, Prabhu, Nath, Sarvabhutatma Sakshina. So he knew that he will be released from this form by touch of Krishna. So now listen how much charity he gave. So commentary, kinnu tav aviditam apitu sarvameva viditam ityartha. So he is asking, what is that not known to you? Which means that you know everything. Yavatyaha sikta bhumer yavatyo divitarkaha yavatyo varshadharasya tavatirada adadam smagaha. So he says that I gave as many cows in charity as there are sand particles on this earth. So where will this many cows stand? If each sand particle becomes a cow, then there will be only cows. And yavatyo divitarka, as many stars are there in the sky, that many cows I gave in charity. And as many raindrops fall on earth, that many cows I gave in charity. And this fellow, he became a chameleon or lizard, whatever, krikalasa. So that is the power of charity. That you make little mistake, then charity cannot protect you. Charity, you will get the benefit of charity, no sure, no doubt. So now, of course, the question will come in everybody's mind, how can he give that many cows? From where did he get? And where will he find people to get this many cows? It's not that you give, there have to be people who want to take. Right? Somebody gives you an elephant. So now you take the elephant, you have to feed. And where will you keep him? So therefore Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Sikta ityadikam aganyatam matra tatparyakam iti prancha. He says, some commentators have explained that the meaning that he gave as many cows as there are sand particles means it is uncountable. He gave so many that you can't keep track how many cows he gave. That is one explanation. Then the others, they have a different explanation. So you have heard that if you come to Vrindavan and you chant one round, that is equal to 100 rounds. Right? You have heard that? Is it 100 or more? How many?
1,000 Babaji.
Okay, 1,000.
In the Vansam.
So now, if you chant 16 rounds every day here, then you are chanting 16,000 rounds every day. And if you live here for 1 year, how many rounds you have chanted? And if you live for 10 years, and maybe it is more on Ekadasi and Janmashtami. Right? So he says, in the same way, there are statements, Kurukshetradi desheshu, Surya Grahanadi kaleshu, Ekasyapigo, Koti Arbud Guni Bhutatvat. So there are statements that when it is sun eclipse, solar eclipse, and you go to Kurukshetra and you give 1 cow in charity, that is equal to 10 million cows in charity. So now if you give 100 cow or 1,000 cow, so it goes into billions. So That's one way of looking at it. So he says, Tatra tatra desha kaleshu pratidinam cha kotyarbud sankhyanam gavam dhatus tasya tavat sankhya katvam api na papannam iti anye. And if he is giving charity like that in holy places every day, and every day he is giving charity, hundreds or thousands of cows, imagine in 100 years of his lifespan, how many cows he must have donated. So therefore it is not impossible what he is saying, that he gave so much charity. And it is not that he was just giving cows in charity. He was giving cows which were decorated, nicely dressed, ornamented. So he is describing what kind of cows he gave in charity. Because he was giving with open heart, not like the story you read, that boy whose father was giving old cows, and finally he went to father, to whom will you give me? Because he realized that he is giving useless cows in charity and good ones he is keeping for himself. So he went and father, to whom will you give me? To whom will you give me? So he said, I give you to Yamaraj. Svetketu? Okay. So therefore he goes there, Kathopanishad, the story is there in Kathopanishad. So he is not giving cows like that. So this description. Payaswani staruni sila rupa gunopanna kapila hem shringi nyayarjita rupya khura savatsa dukul mala bharana dadavaham. So he says that I gave cows which were payaswani. They were milk cows. And taruni, they were young. And Srila Rupa Gunopapanna, and they were well behaved. Sometimes cows are there, you go to milk them, they kick. Kamala had one cow like that, so she will not allow to milk. If you go nearby, she will kick you, or she will goad you with the horn. So what is the use of having such a cow? So these are well behaved, nice, gentle, Shila, and beautiful looking, Rupa, Guna. So all good qualities. And they are Kapila. So Kapila cow is giving charity, that also gives you more piety than giving ordinary cow. And the Kapilas are also various varieties in that. So he was giving Kapila cows. And Hem Shringi, their horns, they were covered with gold. And Nyaya Arjita. And it is not that he had just taken cows from here and there. They were earned by proper means. Because if you earn money by illegal means and then do charity, then you don't get any benefit of charity. So in Bhagavatam also, Devarshi Narada, when he is speaking to Yudhishthira, so he says Sukla Arjita. That you do charity, yajna, etc., it should be with the wealth which is white, Shukla, not black money. So that's why he says Nyaya Arjita. And Rupi Khura, and even their hoops were silver. And they had a calf, Savatsa. And then they were also nicely covered with cloth, silk cloth, Dukula. And they had nice necklaces with gems. So each cow was nicely decorated with gold, covered with cloth, hoops, silver and so on. So that is how he gave the cows. So Deya Vasishtya Maha Payasvaniti. This verse is describing the characteristic of the cow which he gave in charity. And in the next verse he is describing the characteristic of people to whom he gave. Because it's not only that you give charity to anybody and everybody, you also have to give dataviti yaddanam diyate anupkarani dese kale cha patre cha taddanam satvikam smritam. So Krishna says charity is also in sattva, rajas and tamas. So if you give charity to a qualified person at proper time, proper place, and they say kalecha patrecha, and to a qualified person, that is sattvic charity. So this is what he was doing. So he was also giving nice dresses to the people who got the cows. So he says swalankritebhyo gunushila vadbhya sidat kutumbebhya ritavratebhya tatpahya shruta brahma vadanya sadbhya pradam yuvabhyo dejapongavebhya. So he says that I gave my cows to the Brahmana boys who were young and were well educated, Dvijapongava. And they were nicely decorated. They had good character, like the cows had Seel Rupa. They also has Gunasila, good character, good qualities, educated. And those who took care of their family members, Siddhat Kutumbebhya, Ritavratebhya, they are truthful, following the principles of Dharma, austere, well read, and they themselves were also charitable. So, charitable means they were giving Vidya Dan. Because they are learned Brahmanas, they are educating others. So to such people I gave charity. So means they are all honorable people. Sampradana Vaishishtya Maha. So this verse is describing the speciality of the people who got the charity. Swalankritebhya iti tapsa sruta khyātascha brahmani ved shastre adhyapan paratvad udarascha te santascha tebhya. So they were austere, well read, famous for their education, learned in the Vedas and devoted to teaching it to others, very generous in nature. So to such people he gave charity. And not only that he gave cows, he also gave many other things in charity. So all this description is being given that there was nothing wrong with the charity which he was doing. It was appropriate. Means it was not some rajasic or tamasic charity, but according to shastric rules, sattvic, that's the charity which he gave. Gobhu hiranya ayatanashva hastina kanya sadasi stilarupya sayya vasansi ratnani parichhadan rathanishtam cha yagyascharitam cha purtam. So he not only gave cows, but he also gave land, gold. He built houses for poor people, gave horses and elephants in charity. Who will take elephant? You have to feed. And he also gave girls to be married, means he got people married, and also gave maid servants to them. Then he gave til rupya shaya. In the olden times, giving sesame seeds in charity was considered as very good. So that's why til is mentioned. and he gave silver also in charity, and bed to sleep, clothes, gems, other things like umbrella, shoes, etc., toothpaste, right, toothbrush, all the daily needs, books, chair, no AC, fan, chariots. There were no cars, he gave chariots also. And he also performed various yagyas. Yagya is Ishta and Purta. Purta is doing welfare works like digging wells, making gardens, making roads, distributing water in the summertime. So such activities are called Purta. Hospitals, free medicine, like they have eye camp. So he gave all that in charity. So good work he was doing. So dayantrani api aha. So the sloka is describing that besides cows, he gave also other things. Pradamiti purvenaivanva charitam kritam. He did that. But now comes the problem which made him turn into this lizard or chameleon.
This giving us till is white or black, because in South India they have taboo to offer give black till in charity. Madhvas have like a whole
It's white.
White.
If you take black, you are bound by karma. So don't expect the black one. My mother used to say like that. Kale til chupayin. So kasyachid द्विज मुख्यस्य भ्रष्टा गौर्मम गौधने संपृक्त्वा विदुषा साच मया दत्ता द्विजातये. So he says that one day what happened, that some cow which he has given to a Brahmana in charity, that cow ran away from his house and came back and got mixed into his herd. So that says kasyachid द्विज मुख्यस्य भ्रष्टा गौर्मम गौधने. So bhrashta means that it got strayed from there and got mixed. Now he is not keeping track, he is a king. So samprakta vidusa sacha maya dattad. So he got mixed with the cows, his cows, and he gave it to another dvija. So that became the problematic situation. And the brahmanas were also very classic brahmanas. They will not listen to anybody. So nanu krikala sattva prapakam kim papam. So he says, okay, you are telling this nice story, but why did you become this lizard? What made you do that? What sin did you do that? Tad bruhi. He says, cut the story in short and tell us what make you become this lizard. So then he says, Bhrashta Vichyuta Gaur Ekam Eka Eva Mam Gokule Samprikta Milita. So it was only one cow which got strayed from the person to whom he has donated and came back and got mixed. And Avidusha Brahmanasya Iyam Itya Janata. And the Brahmana also did not know. No, he did not know that it belongs to the Brahmana. He says, I did not know that this cow has already been donated. Because how will he know? He is donating so many cows every day. If one cow come back and joins, how does he know? So therefore, he gave it to another one. And then problem came. So when was the problem? Tam niyamanam tatswami drishtva vacha mameti tam mameti pratigrahyaha Nigo me dattavaniti. So when this Brahmana was carrying this cow to his house, then the other Brahmana whose cows it was, he spotted it because he must be looking for it, what happened to my cow. And then he says that this guy is taking it away. So he says, hey, what are you doing? This is my cow. And he says, don't talk nonsense, this is my cow. He says, just now he gave me the king, Nigo me dattavaniti. The king who gave me this cow, why are you taking? If you want a cow, go and ask him. You just don't want to go there and you want to take my cow? No way. He thought like that who knows? He's playing trick. Says, this is my cow. So, pratigrahi vipra uvacha bhavan data iti Goswami uvacha bhavan apaharta iti brahma ati vaigrayam ityartha. Next sloka. So viprau vivad manau mam uchatu swartha sadhakau bhavan data paharteti tachrutva me bhavad brahma. So he says that in this way these two brahmanas, they started fighting with each other. And they came to me and told me that this is my cow. Then he says, this is my cow. And they both were very proud. Means no one was ready to say that it's okay, you take it. Says no. So bhavan data paharta iti tachrutva. So they said that you are the giver of the cow and you are also the stealer of the cow. Because the one who has the cow, he says, you gave this cow to me. And the other one says, you stole my cow. So now the king, he becomes the giver and the taker also. So now this datta, this is called datta pahari. Means if you give something to somebody and then take it back or claim something from it, that is a very sinful thing. And many people do that. These days people give charity for that. They call it charity. It's not charity. If you say, I will give charity and then I can come and stay 1 week in this room, like the people build rooms like that in the guest house of ashram, something, or become life member, then you will get 3 days free, right? Something like that. That's not charity. If you call it charity, you will only get sin, because that becomes datta pahari. So this is what they are saying, that bhavan data apaharta cha. So he says, the king says that when I heard that, I got very confused. That what is this? And what can I do now? So this is what is saying, that pratigrahi vipravacha bhavan data. One who has taken the cow, he said, you are the donor, I am the donee. And the cow, Goswami. So here the word Goswami is used. What is Goswami? So he says, who was the owner of the cow? Goswami means cow owner. Goswami also means... Oh, तो कहने के लिए है. That there is nobody. ऐसा है कोई? ऐसा गोस्वामी कोई देखा है आपने जो इंद्रियों का स्वामी है? कहीं जगत में देखा है क्या? अरे अब वाले गोस्वामी पूछ रहे हैं ना. अभी भी तो बहुत गोस्वामी घूमते हैं ना इधर उधर. आप भी तो गोस्वामी हैं. हाँ. ये आपको फ्री में मिल गए. ऐसे ही है. So this is namesake. Namesake Goswami. So Goswami also means bull. क्या बोलते हैं बंगला में बुल को? सांड. So Goswami means सांड. क्योंकि स्वामी स्वामी पति को बोलते हैं ना, राइट? गोस्वामी, गाय का पति, तो गाय का पति तो साढ़ी होगा और कौन होगा? तो ये गोस्वामी, तो इसलिए देखो ये तो विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर इज राइटिंग हियर गोस्वामी. He says one is the one who got the cow, another whose cow it was, he is calling him as Goswami. He says Goswami uvacha. He says this Goswami said, Bhavana Partha, he says you are a stealer of my cow. You are a thief, you took my cow. नहीं सुना? देखिए तो सीधी बात है ना. बंगला में तो स्वामी किसको बोलते हैं? पति को बोलते हैं ना, वो मेरा स्वामी है. तो गाय का स्वामी कौन होगा? So Brahma ati vyagram ityartha. So he says that I became very nervous, became very anxious. What is to be done now in this? So then he thought, he says, Anunitau bhau vipravu dharma krishna gatena vai gamam laksham prakrishtanam dasyami esha pradiyatam. So he begged them, both of them, because he fell into dharma sankat. Means he got into a troublesome situation related to dharma, because this is bad. I give you something, then I take it from you and then I give it to somebody else. So then both people will be upset. So he said that he says that please, I beg you, I give you 100,000 cows. You give this cow. You give this cow to him and I will give you 100,000 cows. Or he told to the one to whom it belongs, say you take 100,000 cows and let him take this. So he was ready to give 100,000 cows to each one of them, whichever will relinquish the claim over this cow. But the Brahmanas were real Brahmanas. He says, no, we are not greedy like that. Right? If this is mine, this is mine. It's like Vaman Dev. Bali Maharaj says, take more. What he says, no, I am very satisfied. I only want 3 steps. And then he took everything. So the Brahmana says, no, we are very satisfied people. We only want 1 cow and this is my cow. And the one who has it, he says, I am also very satisfied. I don't want 100,000 cows. This is my cow. So now what the king can do? Nothing, he has to become lizard. He has no choice. If any one of the Brahmanas were little greedy, then his problem would have been solved. So the Brahmanas were neither greedy nor needy. They were only proudy. Their ahankara did not allow them to give up. So ahankara is more powerful than anything else. They could have made good amount of money, right? Sometimes you make a mistake, or if something person is ready to pay, take 10 times more, leave me alone. And he says, no, it's a question of my honor. I don't care for money. So that's what they did. So he says, please do that. And they says, forget it. So dharmasya krishra sankate gate na maya gate na maya iti sesha. Not gate na. So he says that I had fallen into this very precarious situation. Dharma krishra upagata iti kvachit prakrishta nam asya api utkrishta nam prakrishena nij agraha tyag purvaka anta suddhyadina diyatam. So he says, he told them that I will give you better cows than this. Please give up your obstinacy and be pure-hearted and give this cow to me. That they did not agree. Bhavantau anugrihinītāṃ kinkarasya vijanatah samuddharta mam krichat patantam niryesuchau. So he was begging to them. He says, I am begging you, please be gracious to me. I am your servant. And unknowingly I have made this mistake. I have fallen into this dangerous situation, and protect me from falling into the impious hellish position. But Brahmanas were very staunch in their resolution. So some people, they don't stick to anything, they change, very wishy-washy. Now they say one thing, after 2 minutes another thing. These Brahmanas were very fixed, didn't change. So Krishrat Kashtat Samuddharantam Krishnamevaha Patantam. So he says, please uplift me from this precarious situation. I am going to hell. Protect me. But they did not listen to him. Okay, that was Jiva Goswami's commentary. I was reading. Vishnath Pratigrahi Vipravacha Bhavaniti. Yeah, there is no commentary by him. Naham Pratichya Vairajan Ityuktva Swamyapakramat Nanyad Gavamapi Ayutamichhami Ityaparoyayo. So the first one said, I will not take, means to whom the cow belonged originally. So he says, no, I will not take your 100,000 cows. I only want this. And if I don't get this, I am going. And saying this, he left. So Swami Apakramat. And the other one also said the same thing. He says, I don't want. You are saying 100,000, if you give me 110,000, that also I will not accept. He even raised 10% more. He says, no, I will not take. And then he also left. So they both left. They left the cow also, and they both went away. And basically they cursed him. So that is the situation with poor Nrega. So Ragyam na pratichya raj pratigraham na karomi tyuktva apakramat sviyam gam vihayeva yayo. So Vishwanath Chakravarti said that the first one did not take. He says, I already made a mistake of accepting one cow from you. Now see in what a plight I have fallen. If I take 100,000 from you, I don't know what will happen to me. He says, no, I don't take anything, I am going away. And he left. And pratigrahi duragraha yallaksham tava uktam anyadapi avitam api yad dadasi tadapi imam vihaya nechami. And the one who had the cow, he was also very obstinate. He says, you are giving me 100,000 cows for this. Even if you give me 110,000, I will not accept. And saying this, he also left. So they both left.
I am trying to understand with what mentality they are actually speaking like this. These Brahmanas, because also it is, we should take, because he also mentions that this is the plight for one cow. So maybe they are thinking like his activities are such that this has caused some plight.
No, basically it's pride.
So they are having pride in giving up a cow.
Yeah, because it's disgrace for me. I got disgraced. I got one cow from you, and this is the disgrace I am now facing. That this guy is saying, no, it is my cow. I'm a Brahmana who never accepts anything from anybody or who does not take anyone's property. par darve par patni par hinsa sayo matim na karoti bhopal tasya tesya tosyate keshava. And now because I accepted charity from you, look, this is what happened to me, I will not take any more. So he is thinking like that. So he is both. His pride is also there. Why shall I do this? If you won't give me this cow, I will go away. So he did not take. So now this is what happened, that they both left, and in the meantime then his lifespan was over, so Yamdutas came and took him away. Etasminantare yamyair dutair nito yamakshayam yamena prishtas tatraham deva deva jagatpate. So he is saying that, O Deva of the Devas, Sri Krishna, O Master of the universe, when all this happened, then my death came, and then the Dutas of Yamaraj came, and they took me to the capital of Yamaraj. And the Yamaraj then asked me the following question. So Marnanantaram iti Shesha. So this means after he died, obviously the Yamdutas came. Yamakshayam Sanyamni. Yamakshayam means the capital of Yamaraj is called Sanyamani. That is the name. Just like Indra's capital is called Amaravati and Kubera. Alkapuri, I think. Kubera's capital, Alkapuri. So, Purvam Tvamushabham Bhukshe Utaho Nirpate Shubham Nantam Danasya Dharmasya Pashe Lokasya Bhasvataha. So Yamaraj asked him that, look, you have such a huge amount of piety because you did so many charitable activities that there is no end to your piety. You are going to live in those effulgent heavenly planets for a long, long time. But you have made one mistake, one inauspicious thing, so you have to suffer for that. So now you decide which one do you want. Do you want your good karma first, or you want your bad karma first? So this shows one thing, that sometimes people think that if you do some bad thing, then you do good thing, then it will destroy that. No. If you have done some irreligious act and you have done some pious act, you will get the result of both. Pious act will give you pious result, and impious act will give you impious result. It's not that they cut out and they balance, nothing like that. That is only if you do prashchitta, which is prescribed in Shastra. You have done something and there is a prashchitta prescribed for that, you do that, then it is possible. But not that I have done so much sin, I have done so much piety, they can balance, nothing like that. So you have to go through the outcome. So this is what Yamaraj asked him. Asubham, what is the inauspicious act you have done? Ajanata yad viprasya gaura aphrita tajjanya paphalam. So in unknowingly which you have taken the cow of the Brahmana, so that is the sinful act you have done, and you are going to get the sinful reaction for that. And the other one is utaho kimva shubham punya phalam tav danasya antam na pashyami tat phalasya bhashvato lokasya sargasya pi antam na pashyami. And on the other side you have performed a lot of charities, so you have huge amount of that. I don't see end of your piety. So which one do you want first? So then he says, Purvam deva shubham bhunje iti prahe pata iti sa tavad draksham atmanam krikalasam patan prabhu. So I said that let me first go through the reaction of my sinful act. Right? In Bengal, they say that you should start with the bitter. When you eat food, first take the bitter on karela, neem, and sweets at the end. Right? So he is also following the Bengal tradition. He says that I will first take the sinful reaction and then I will enjoy in heaven all the sweets. So that's what he said. So as soon as he said it, then Yamaraj said, okay, fall down. Pata iti. And when Yamaraj said fall down, he says, I saw that I turned into a lizard. Tavad adraksham atmanam kaklasam, and I fell into this well. That's how it was. So, he deva yama purvamaham asubham bhunje iti mayokte sa yama pata iti praha. So I told to Yamaraj that, O Deva, first I will accept the result of the impious deed. And as soon as I said that, I became the beautiful lizard. And that's what you saw now. So brahmanyasya vadanyasya tav dasasya keshava smritirnadyapi vidvasta bhavat sandarshanarthinaha. So Nriga is saying that, O Keshava, because I was very devoted to the Brahmanas, I was very charitable, and I am your servant. Therefore, I still have my memory of my past life, and I have had the very intense desire to see you, and I am able to have your darshan now. So this is what he said. So there is some little comment on this. Nrigasya bhakti mishra karmitvad gunubhutaya eva ya bhakti rasit tam ashritya eva bhagavadagre dasasya iti vinay vyanjaka uktiriti gaya. So he says that this Nriga, he was not following bhakti, but he was following karma marg mixed with bhakti. Bhakti mishra karma. That's what he was doing. And therefore his bhakti was secondary. Primarily he was following the path of karma yoga, but it was also mixed with bhakti. And because of that bhakti only, he is telling to Krishna out of humility that I am your servant. This is how it has to be seen. But he is adding this interesting phrase, bhavat sandarshana arthina, that I wish to have your darshan. Now karma yoga does not have that as a goal. So why did he have that goal? So he explains. He says, bhavat sandarshana arthina iti kadachit ati sundara Shri Bhagavad Vigraha tan mandir adi Shri Gita Shri Bhagavat adi Shastra Prapti Utkanthasya Mahabhagavatasya Apekshniyam Nirgena Mahadatrittvat Samyak Sampaditam. He says it happened, or this is conjectured, that maybe sometime some great devotee came to him and asked that, can you help me to build a nice temple for Krishna or Vishnu? Or he asked that, can you arrange for me to have a copy of Bhagavad Gita or Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? And because king was very charitable, he arranged for that. So that means he did some service to some devotees. Tatasya tena santushyata bho rajan stav bhagavad darshanam bhuyat. Yadeva ashir datta tadarabhyeva nirgasya bhagavad didriksha bhutiti gamyate. So being pleased by the charity given by the king, that Vaishnava blessed him that may you have the darshan of Bhagavan. And from that time onwards, the desire to see Bhagavan came in him. And that's why he says that Bhavat Sandarshana Arthina, that I was wishing to have your darshan. So that's how it is to be understood. So this story is very interesting because it is showing a contrast between bhakti and karma. So about bhakti you hear story Ajamila, who was such a sinner, and Yamdutas came to take him, but he got protected by Namabhas. And here he is doing so much charity, and no Vishnudita came to protect him. He has to actually suffer. And you hear so many other stories, that mouse stealing the wick, or the dead bird taken by a dog running around the temple. So many other stories like that. So that shows the difference between bhakti and karma yoga, because bhakti is inherently potent, and potency of karma yoga is because of the statement, because of the injunction. So therefore you don't get such protection on karma mark. And moreover he did not respect bhakti, so he has to go. So I'll stop here. Bhushan.
My question is on karma itself. So there is at least contemporarily there is this idea that if you worship certain devata like Shiva, for example, others devatas, if one worships certain devatas like Shiva or other such Devi or someone, the karma can change and they may get a job, they may get more wealth and so on. That is the understanding. And what they cite some story of this Markandeya, when he was 16 years old, his karma was to die. And Yamaraj came to take him away, and Shiva saved him. He basically hugged the Shivalinga, and then the Yamaraj Pash went on to the Shivalinga, and Shiva became angry and burned Yamaraj to the ground. So the idea is that if you worship Shiva, then karma can be taken away. So is that something which can happen, that you can take the karma away, not by Prayashit, but worshipping other devatas?
Yeah, by blessing it is possible.
Okay.
But not that you do some good act and your sinful act will go away. Unless it is a shastric injunction and you perform specific anushthan, then it's because in Shastra there are injunctions like that also, that you are sick. So obviously you are sick because of your karma. Then you can do some japa, tapa, hom, yagya, charity, and you can be freed from that. Like Krishna's son Samba, he got leprosy. So then he was prescribed to do Surya Puja, he did that. Then he got cured by that. Bhakti Devi.
You were reading about the Kapila cows and that they are very special. Can you please describe more about it?
Kapila cows, they are special because they have certain, first of all there are 10 types of them. So Jiva Goswami has cited from Varaha Puran, Suvarna Kapila Purva Dutiya Gaur Pingala Tritiya Chaiva Raktakshi Chaturthi Gud Pingala. So Kapila is like tawny color, that's what Kapila means. So one is golden Kapila, other is Gaur, like we say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is Gaur Pingala. Third one, that has reddish eyes. Fourth one has the color like jaggery. Fifth one has multicolors. So it's basically some colors which are mentioned here. But the Pingala refers to the color primarily. Somebody's tail is like that color, eyes. So there is nothing else mentioned.
So these are cows we can also see here it's not heavenly planets, there are different features.
Yeah, because Nriga was not in heaven, he was giving charity. He was donating these cows. Tanmaji?
And the
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
sometimes it's also that the shape of a mridanga, some cows have that shape that is very special.
Yeah, there are so much varieties of cows. I mean, now also you see so many in India. There are cows. If you go to Jagannath Puri, they are very small cows. Same if you go to Nepal, in the mountain area. They're like you go to Gir cows, they look one way. You go to Sahiwal cows, they look another way. Here in Braj area, they have another type. So there are various types cows. Tanmaji?
I was had a question about Prayaschitta. So does Prayaschitta nullify karma?
Yes, that is the very meaning of Prayaschitta. I mean, somebody has performed something forbidden act. But it is not that knowingly you make forbidden act, then you do Prayaschitta, not like that. But unknowingly you did that, then you can Prayaschitta. Manusmriti also has all these Krichra, Vratas, various types of fastings, etc. Chandrayana is famous one.
So Nriga had no recourse to that. I guess he didn't sit down with the Brahmanas, figure out what Prayaschitta he could do in order to not become a lizard.
Well, looks like he did not have much time after that he died. Sandeep.
So, when the devotee approached Nriga, so he built a temple and whatever, but it was as an intention of charity.
Yes.
So, how was it Karamishra Bhakti? I'm not able to get that point because his intention was to.
Do you know that there are Swarup Siddha, Sang Siddha, Arop Siddha Bhakti?
Yes, yes.
So what is that?
I think this was the something because that he had the devotee came to him.
No, its activity itself is bhakti activity. If you chant Krishna's name, that is Swarup Siddha. That's why Jamila got saved, meaning by Namabhas. He's not doing bhakti. It happened.
Babaji, I understood that the context of this story is that we understand the charity thing, that when we give charity, then we don't take back. My question is that here in this story, Nriga, he didn't do it like he didn't give the cows and then took it back, like it came.
Yeah,
So
but
if the intention is not there, then still the person has to suffer for the.
that's the story. Where is the question? There's a right example is right there.
But sometimes we had heard that intention is more important than the action itself. So
That
it
does not
can't-
mean that action does not have any value. If you would have done intentionally, you would have probably become something more worse. Right?
Yeah.
So that's it. We saw the story we read in Bhakti Sandarbha, that king who was performing some vrata and then he just spoke with an atheist. So then how many births he became? He became a jackal, he became a dog, he became wolf, at least 3 lifetimes. And his wife was also there, but she didn't get the reaction. And he has to. So that is because that was an offense. And he knew it, he did it.
And I have one more question. So, is it true that for some of the karma we do, when we have the result of it, it happens like that? For an example, if I cheat somebody, then I get the result as being cheated by somebody else. So, does that happen also?
Yeah, that is also there, but you can also have more. That first you become something and then you get cheated also. Because it comes with bonus, you know. Okay, Braj Kishori.
Babaji, the severity of the punishment for unintended, unintentional, and unaware offense perhaps is magnified because he offended Brahmanas, and because of that, because he has not been forgiven, that's why his punishment or reaction was so severe. Which brings me to question, if he was forgiven by the Brahmanas, would the severity be as such or lesser or none?
No, I think there will be nothing if they forgive him. Because he did not do it knowingly and they have forgiven. But because they did not forgive it, so it stands. Also, you have to understand that these punishments for the same act are not always same for everybody. So it depends which path you are following. This is very interesting to know this. So if you are following path of Karma Yoga, if you are following the path of Jnana Yoga, or if you are not following any path, like people in general these days, so they will not get severe reaction like that. Maybe very little. So those who are following the path, they get very heavy reaction. Because they are following the path. They are agreed to follow something. Other people have not made any such commitment. So like you say, that people who eat meat, then they take birth as many hairs in the body of the cow, all that. This is not applicable for everybody. So there is a statement in Bhagavatam, Nayashayane patati adha. One who is lying on the ground doesn't fall down. If one is sleeping on the mat on the ground, if you sleep on a bed, you can fall down. But if you are already on the ground, where will you fall? So these people are already suffering, they are already in hell. So where else they will go? Narayanji.
Guru Maharaj, so my question is that is the reason that he went to hell and got his whatever, the body of the wizard, is it because his intent was misplaced?
Intent was?
Misplaced, because he was doing mixed devotion. I'm assuming he was a follower.
No, his intent was not display. His intent was not displaced. This is what he wanted.
Misplaced.
It was not misplaced. That was his process. He was following that path. The path of karma is also there.
Okay. So now, because the reason I'm asking is because Varnashrama is also aimed for satisfaction of Lord Vishnu.
But one thing is that he knew about bhakti. That's why Vishnu Chakravarti says, so in a way he was disrespectful to bhakti. Knowing about bhakti, then he is taking shelter of karma. That is his misplacement, if you want to say misplacement. It's like we know how powerful is bhakti, and then I want to do Bhishma Panchak, Right? You have heard of Bhishma Panchak?
Yeah, there's people in this, they still do it. Yes.
So now you ask them, why are you doing this? Is it part of bhakti? Which limb of bhakti does this Bhishma Panchak fall in? So just because it is written in Shastra there are so many things written. You have to know for whom is it written, who is the adhikari for this.
So my question is that if we give charity, but with the perspective that we are offering service to Lord, to Krishna himself, right? I mean, we are doing dana for that, and let's say we give charity.
That is service.
But let's say we do it. If we are offering it to the Guru and all, then that's very clear that that's not within this realm at all. But what if we are giving charity to say, for example, there are people who are running these samsthas, blind samstha, this samstha, that samstha, and you want to do it because you're in a position to help. You want to do it as a service to Krishna only, but are we saying service to Krishna is just exclusively aimed only to Guru and his related organizations? Or can you do service to Krishna with a broader view?
Krishna is everywhere.
Other people who are in need, you know?
Krishna is everywhere. It's not that you can do that. Only thing is that you should do it with that intention and not with some other motive. That is the important thing. If you have some other motive, then it is not seva.
Okay. But if the recipient does something wrong with it, then do we get the karma for that?
Yeah, then also that is also there. That's why desha kalecha patrecha. That also Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. I mean, this is written in Bhagavad Gita itself.
But Guru Maharaj, then the question is that then it is impossible to give charity anywhere, because I'm not within the confine of the Guru Shishya relationship. All that is, I'm excluding that, because that we know the intent. There is no doubt about the intent. Neither is there any doubt about where the money, where the stuff, where the charity is actually used. We know it is only for service of Krishna and nothing else. But now, if what you just said, right, if it is dependent on the recipient also, even if I am giving it with that right intent, then that basically means I can't give charity anywhere.
So what is your common sense saying?
My common sense tells me
That the person who is taking it, for what is he taking? Now if he does not use it for that, then obviously he is also going to get reaction from that, isn't it? Suppose some...
then none of the organizations will ever exist. Because
why you think like that?
Because everybody is only doing it for sense gratification. You go to missionaries of charity.
So then if you know that, then what is the point in giving it?
Then you are just accumulating everything for yourself. So we give because we are giving for, I'm just wondering, like...
No, you yourself are saying it, that they are doing it for sense gratification. So if you want to get rid of your money so that others can gratify their senses, fine. I'm not against it. But here it is your own words.
Okay, maybe I am not understanding, but then basically we are saying that this then dramatically reduces the purview of where you can...
So what can be done about that, tell me? I mean, charity is you give with the intention that this is going to help some good cause, whether it is building a temple or feeding people. But if people do not do that, then for the purpose for which you gave was not achieved. And if you know that, then you also become party to that or not?
Can I ask a question then about this? Because then the question is, say that you give some charity to some organization which is associated with your guru, okay? And you know that people in the organization are chores. They are going to misuse it for sense gratification and all. So then why should I give it to that also?
Yeah, so my question is that only. So for what reason do you give?
We give primarily because we want to do some seva to Bhagwan. Otherwise, I'm just doing seva to people.
But if that seva is not being done, then your purpose is achieved or not achieved? You are giving it for the service of Bhagwan.
Right.
Now if that is being done, then it is fine. I'm not saying don't give, but if it is not being done, then
Right.
the very purpose for which you give is not happening.
And it is right. And what I'm saying is it's impossible to know where it is applied. I'll give you one more example, and I'll stop after this. But there was this temple in. There are many temples now in Vrindavan which are not run by large institutions like Gaudiya Math and ISKCON and whatnot, and they are really struggling actually. They are not. And they are not asking like lakhs and lakhs of rupees also. They want something because the seva ही नहीं हो रहा है भगवान का. So they don't have. I'll give you one very good example. Is this temple in Kaman, which is Vrindadevi's temple. So they have been trying to do stuff for a long time, and it's kind of going nowhere. And then there are other temples in Vrindavan also, and they sometimes reach it out, and they say, okay, please help karo seva karo. So we have been, obviously a lot of people who are dharmic and even the ones who have heard you, they end up helping because they like, okay, that's seva all right. But we don't know what is used for. So our jurisdiction ends with just giving the seva. But what I think you are telling me is the jurisdiction doesn't end there. It has to also be how they are actually using it. So there has to be some policing in place. It is impossible to do in any large organization.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, as far as Shastra is concerned, okay, at least from Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna himself is using this word deshe kalecha patrecha tad danam satvikam smritam. He himself has used. Now this is when it comes to charity, charitable thing. When it comes to bhakti, obviously we are not doing it because we want some gain from that.
Right.
So we are not interested in doing sattvic or rajasic or tamasic. In that case, we do it only as a service to Krishna. So if you believe that these people are good and they are doing it, then you are not liable after that. But if you know that money is being misused, then obviously you are doing wrong. But if you do it your part, obviously it is not possible to check every penny, whatever is happening.
Right.
But if you think that in general this organization or this temple is not doing like that, and you give it, then you are not going to get anything bad from that. First of all, you are not doing it for any material gain. You see, the problem comes that generally when we are doing charity, we don't do it without strings unattached. We do it with something is there behind it. So that should not be there. That is the most important thing. But if we have something string attached, then you are going to be liable the way it is being used. If you actually do it with pure heart, that I want to do it as a service to Krishna, and I am giving it to him for his service, and I really have no intention of getting any praise or me being recognized or this or that or nothing else, then it is fine.
Makes sense. Thank you so much. This is very illuminating because one deep-rooted tradition, especially in many Tamilian Iyer Smartas, even Iyengar Smarta, the Smarta Brahmins, is that they use this as an excuse to just keep holding money. They just say, like, Sundar Pichai, I remember I went to him once asking for some seva for some temple. And this guy is worth $1.5 billion. And giving 5,000 rupees is like, I don't think he will even notice where it went. Like, it's so small. But then he came back with exactly what I'm asking you. He said, all these people, I don't know how the money is used. So I'm not going to give it to anybody. And I'm just, so this is the mindset. And this is used very repeatedly. It's a very deep-rooted thing, especially in the Iyer community.
Yeah.
Because Shankaracharya, so that's why I was trying to understand how...
No, they have another better logic also. Which I have heard because I lived in Tirupati, so I have faced it. So they say, well, he says, God doesn't need anything. What are you saying?
True.
He says he doesn't need anything. It is you people who want it. But he is not in need of anything. So they are very good at that, not giving.
Right.
I've seen it especially in Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
They are very expert.
That when this Madhu Pandit episode exploded, where they found that they were giving anda inside this anna, what is that, midday something, you know, they keep running this. They found that they're actually giving egg inside that.
Egg?
That really, egg.
Why?
At midday lunch, Karnataka government, this became a very big dharmic issue because the government of Karnataka came back and said that you have to give nutritious meals. And our midday meals are considered like pure vegetarian, so they said, the kids will not get any strength and this and that. So at least you have to add one egg for the underprivileged. So they had to add that. And that's like so it was a very big issue actually. And but of course still people and it's often given, and the same thing I heard is happening even in ISKCON and other places too. Right? This is the very disturbing trend because they need the money and government support to sustain it. Goshala maybe.
Yeah, so this is how things become deviated.
Yeah.
This is how dharma deviates gradually. Then you add meat, then you'll add something else, then you'll add something else. So it happens like that. Gradual, then it goes on. Okay.
I have a question. Can I ask question, Babaji?
बोलिए.
See, I sometimes give money to the students for their education and things, but then I also want to have them give them report and I kind of review the report and see they are going to die. So does it fall in a result or anything, or
No, it depends with what is your now here comes the intention. What is the intention behind it? It's not result. I mean, if you are making sure that it is being used properly, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what we are discussing, that it should not be misused. Because I know there are people who have broken temples, as Narayan brought this issue. And they want the temple to remain broken only. No matter how much money you give them, they want to have it because that's how the donation will come. If you make it nice, then they think like that. It is not necessary that if they repair and make it nice, then donation will not come. But they think like that. Like beggars, So people who have beggars, there are beggars who have lakhs and lakhs of rupees in their account, but they will, wear the same shabby dress, look like haggard, malnutrition, because that's when people feel compassionate and give. So they will remain like that. But then, they may have properties. So
same thing in Pushti market, in Pushti market, same thing.
Yeah, so there's...
Okay, thank you.